In a attrition law like this, it's not like landing with you folks in Normandy on the real D-Day, where you can measure progress in kilometers and miles. It is something that we just have to wait out. And the question is, can we tolerate it? It's not having much impact on us, but the American public doesn't like any pain, particularly, as you said, when the policy appears to be erratic.
Let's speak now to James Jeffrey, former US Deputy National Security Advisor under George W. Bush and Special Envoy to Iraq and the Levant under President Trump. James, good afternoon from us.
Thanks for having me on, Colin.
It's very good to speak to you. I want to start there, I suppose, with the threshold, the tolerance level that Iran has for economic sanctions and repercussions of which Donald Trump seems to be speaking. And indeed, I suppose, a newfound appreciation for the power that Iran has to fight back via the Strait of Hormuz. What sort of position is Trump in here? What cards does he hold?
He holds very good cards. First of all, Nagar is totally right in the fact that we are not going to anytime soon push Iran into a compromise solution based upon the sanctions and the other new steps we're taking with the Emiratis, Dubai, and other places to try to squeeze them more. That said, what Nagar didn't mention was at the end of the Iran-Iraq war, Iran caved, and they caved largely because they were under tremendous pressure. Iran today is under tremendous pressure. Most of its proxies have been defeated or are trying to largely sit out this conflict, the Houthis with some asterisks. Their nuclear program has been largely bombed into rubble, at least for the moment. And the Straits are not showing the kind of success the Iranians thought and we thought. The IMF has estimated that global growth will drop because of the Straits between 3.1% to 3%. That's not a major significant impact. So Trump thinks he can wait these guys out. We'll see.
We'll see indeed. Does Trump need a collegiate approach to this in the region, from allies in the region? Can the US operate alone in this way?
Yeah, I've spent 30 years trying to work out collegiate approaches in the region. It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
Just when we try to pressure the Houthis, the two major anti-Houthi forces operating in Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and the Emiratis started fighting each other. We see in Syria, Turkey, and Israel, another two powerful partners in the region who are not happy about Iran's expansionist goals, fighting each other, or at least threatening to. So Washington has its hands full. At the end of the day, though, with much bitching, Bibi Netanyahu is moving forward slowly on Gaza and Lebanon. The Gulf states, even though they're suffering much economically, are still standing by Washington. So while I think it's a lot of effort, it'll be half efforts, but it'll probably be enough for us to continue the blockade. And that's the important thing, because it's cut almost all Iranian exports.
What does blinking first look like in this conflict, in this situation? And as both countries strive to avoid that, I suppose, when do you anticipate that blinking first may be a reality?
That's a great question, Colin. Blinking first from the United States standpoint is to go back to the MOU signed in June. You remember at the time, everybody, I was on London Times radio, everybody was claiming, boy, Trump has caved. But actually, it wasn't a bad deal. It gave Iran a lot of concessions, particularly financially, but in return, it would deal with the Straits and it would deal theoretically with the nuclear file. So that's what the Trump administration wants, something like that. What the Iranians want, and that's where they're making a mistake, is they want something like a Trump surrender. You end the blockade, you let us rule the Straits however we want, including keeping the Straits shut whenever it appeals to us, and you retreat from the region and you pay us reparations. That's not going to happen. And so when will this change? I think we have to wait for the elections. The Iranians are hoping that higher gas prices in America will put pressure on Trump. I don't think so, but who knows with Trump. And after the elections, then the Iranians will lose their main two cards. First, the American elections, and secondly, every month as we move away from the high use of oil summer, and people find other ways to get energy, the Iranian Straits card will be weakening. So at that point, Iran will do one of two things. I hope negotiate on the basis of the MOU. The other is some kind of last-ditch military operation. That's what I worry about.
Over 80% of Iran's shipped oil has been destined for China latterly, as Chinese refiners take advantage of kind of discounted, I suppose, US sanctioned oil. To what extent is Trump's latest rhetoric a threat to China?
It is a threat to a limited degree if we were to carry it out forcefully, but there are huge prices, as we saw a year ago when we tried to put heavy tariffs on China, and China retaliated on the precious metals and rare earth metals file. And so I think Trump will be careful on that, but there'll probably be some pressure. Every little bit counts. That's what we're doing. This is a war of attrition at this point, as was the Iran-Iraq war. And again, at the end, Iran couldn't take the economic and diplomatic pressure.
Does Trump appreciate the broader picture, do you think, of conflict around the world at this moment and the connection between Iran and Russia, who, of course, are fighting an illegal war in Ukraine? Is there an appreciation of how all of these jigsaw together?
I worked for Trump for 2 years on the Syria file.
Yeah.
At the 50,000-foot level, Trump has a pretty good appreciation and it's very cold-blooded, of what's going on. But and he knows that Russia is helping Iran, Iran is helping Russia, or North Korea, or everybody. But that is not a good guide to what Trump actually will do on the ground in his diplomatic activities. Trump likes to try new things, which most presidents don't like because they're risky. And when they don't work, he walks away from them, which also most presidents don't like. So it's a very different approach to foreign policy. All in all, since 2018, when he started really going after Iran, he's had a lot of impact, with some help from Biden, supporting Israel and Gaza, on crushing Iran's regional ambitions, and that's where we are today. He's also indirectly helped Ukraine by providing intelligence, allowing the sales, he won't fund them, but he allows the Europeans to, of American weapons, and various diplomatic actions. So all in all, we're pretty happy with where we are, I think, with Ukraine and where we are with Iran.
It's interesting analysis there, I think, as well. So then, with President Trump and his much talked about, I suppose, attention span and how he may move on from issue to issue in a sort of rapid and, dare I say, erratic way from time to time, is this focus on Iran constructive? Can you see progress towards a conclusion in the long Truth Social post that he made about this so-called economic D-Day? Is there identifiable progress as far as you are concerned, James?
Again, we asked ourselves a question because we were indirectly supporting the Iraqis against Iran in the 1980s. Year after year, we made that assessment. We thought we were seeing success. We also did the same thing with North Vietnam, and I was involved in that. For years, we had no success. By 1972, we actually did, and we got a deal rather similar in many respects to the June MOU with Iran. So, in a attrition law like this, it's not like landing with you folks in Normandy on the real D-Day, where you can measure progress in kilometers and miles. It is something that we just have to wait out. And the question is, can we tolerate it? It's not having much impact on us, but the American public doesn't like any pain, particularly, as you said, when the policy appears to be erratic. And at the working level, believe me, with Trump, it's usually erratic. At the overall policy level, there's arguments for it, particularly taking out Iran.
James, it's really, really good to speak to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. That is James Jeffrey, former US Deputy National Security Advisor under George W. Bush, and also worked for President Trump as well. There is one observation, I suppose, on Trump's Truth Social post, in that he didn't name countries or details on his possible actions. Rather, it was just a sort of broad take that he would really come after Iran and needed the support of his allies as well. And the other part of that is that oil prices rose to their highest level in a month. Today, on Thursday, after President Trump's claim that he would inflict tremendous economic consequences on countries doing business with Iran as well. So he really does move markets, doesn't he, this president?